Hello, welcome back to After Reality. It's your host, Courtney Robertson here. Happy Bachelor Monday. It's been a long off season. And today I've got Reality Steve, my good friend, and we are going to just kind of grease the wheels, get you ready for Grant Ellis's season. So let's bring Steve in. Also, I've got a YouTube channel now, so you can see us talking. And I'm going to bring my friend in. I'm new here. Hi.
Hey,
Hi.
Courtney.
Hi, Steve. I'm sorry about my intro, but I'm trying to figure out all this camera stuff. And you just started your YouTube channel, so you can understand that it's a little tricky.
Yeah, you got to get used to it. But like you said, this
Mm.
is only like the second time you're using this, so
Yes.
you'll get used to it. StreamYard is very easy to use, and it's what I use as well. So yeah, I think you're good to go here.
Are you enjoying it? Because it's like we talked about before we started recording. You do something for so long a certain way, it's really hard to teach an old Courtney new tricks.
Yeah, when I was doing audio for 8 years before I even started video, you're just used to something, and now it's like adding in the video. It it definitely adds a new element. I've never been a TV person. I've never liked being on camera, but again, you just have to kind of adjust with the times and know that so many people are attracting their audio podcast by putting out videos and video clips and stuff on Instagram Reels. And I realized this is what I got to do. Even though I'm almost 50, I'm getting old. I don't really like being on camera, but I understand this is kind of the way the business is going. So it makes sense to add it.
Well, you inspired me, and thanks for joining me and chatting with me. We're recording this over the weekend. I'm at
Uh,
my dad's house. I've got a little time away from the kids just to recharge. I've got a lot of stuff coming up, and oh man, it's just
my
been
my old stomping
wild.
ground, your dad's house. It's my
Yes,
place.
you stayed here when you came for the Clayton and the Laura Owens trial. I picked you up
Yeah.
from here.
Yeah.
You're
Couple times.
welcome anytime. I'm thinking about diving into his little spool out back for a cold plunge.
Yeah, what's the weather? What's it like for you guys right now?
It was kind of rainy and cloudy today, which I'm hoping that rain it's supposed to start raining in LA. I've been super sad about that. And I mean, you're a Southern California guy. It's
Yeah.
just wild to see what's going on. Sometimes it's been hard for me lately to get creative and get it up, so to speak, to podcast. That's why my husband's like, just go to your dad's, like find the time. So I reached out to you and but yeah, no, the weather is like it's usually 72 and sunny during the day. What about you? I mean, did you get snow? I was thinking about
Yeah.
you the other day. Let's do a little weather update because
Yeah.
I have weather depression. Is it
Couple
snowing there?
couple weeks ago it snowed on a Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and by Saturday into Sunday 90% of it had melted. It just didn't stay cold enough. But yeah, we'll get a blast come through here every once in a while. It snows. I mean, it only snowed that instance, and that's probably going to be the last snow of the year we have, because January, February are always the coldest months here in Dallas. But yeah, we got it. It probably got to about 3 inches of snow. And then, like I said, that was like Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Then Thursday, it was about 35 degrees. So it stuck around Thursday. It got into the low 40s on Friday, so it's slowly started melting, and then by Saturday it was in the mid to high 40s, and pretty much all of it had melted. So it was only one
Mm.
day.
Oh gosh. Well, is that atypical for like when I think of Texas, I don't think of snow. Is
Yeah,
that
no,
normal?
it'll snow. I can't remember the last time we had a snow day like that, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. But I would say, like, I mean, we get cold. I mean, we will get down into in January and February. You'll get down to the teens at night for sure. And then you'll have some, like, a whole week of it doesn't top 30 degrees. But if rain comes or whatever, then that turns into sleet. But sometimes it does. We'll get a snow day every like 2 or 3 years, maybe, and a couple here and there. But for the most part, it just gets cold in the winter. It definitely gets cold here in the winter. Like I said, it'll in February coming up. We're gonna have. I guarantee we'll have some. You wake up in the morning and it's in between 15 and 20 degrees, and then it'll get up.
What?
The high will be 30 for the day, and that might last a couple weeks in February. But um,
That's
So that
cold, Steve.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
really cold. I
It's
mean,
good.
it
It's
was
the best part about working from home. I don't have to deal with it. I'll never step outside.
well, you know where it's not gonna be cold?
Las
Vegas.
Vegas?
La Viva Las Vegas. I
Yeah.
had a story for you. I was this morning, we were talking about our trip to Vegas and your fan appreciation party, which is going to be at the House of Blues, which is I'm so excited about. And I'm like, babe, I got to start shopping for my outfit because it's an 80s theme. And I was like, also like the last couple times I've come, I'm like, it's an excuse for me to like put my makeup on. We talked about it last year, like bring your flats, ladies.
Yeah.
I'm not a big wear my heels all night kind of a gal. Now that I'm literally wearing sweatpants right now. And I said to my husband, I said, I gotta start shopping for my outfit, but I kind of just want to look pretty. And I don't know if I'm gonna look pretty as Kelly Kapowski. Like maybe I just want to get like a really nice dress. And he's like, Courtney, you'll look pretty as Kelly Kapowski. You
There you
should have
go.
heard him. He was like dead ass. I was like, but like, cause I was like, oh, I just want to like when you take a trip, you just want to like get a new outfit. And he's like, we're going 80s. He's like, it's Steve's 50th, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna bring it. So what's the latest with the party before we jump into the latest in the nation?
Man, it's going to be the biggest one I've ever had by double the size. I've got basically 200 people that have RSVP'd, and that includes family and friends. Because it's my 50th, I've got a lot more people that I know that are coming, and family, friend. I mean, this is my mom and my dad and my sister, my brother-in-law, my niece and nephew. Like usually in the past, it's just been my niece who you've met the last couple of years, but now family's coming. I possibly have a cousin and her daughter that live in New York that are coming in. So yeah, it's just going to be, and it's just like I said, it's going to be different because it's going to be in the biggest venue we've ever had. I'm going to do a live show.
Oh, I forgot about the live show.
Yeah, we're going to do a live show. There's going to be a photo booth there. There's going to be a DJ. Like this is going to be a party, and not just in the past it's been a party, but it's been in my hotel room 2 years
Yeah.
ago that you went to for the
Well,
first
your
time.
hotel suite, which is
Yeah,
like
the
the
hotel suite.
presidential suite.
And then last year at Venetian, but it's always just been, hey, show up, beer and wine, some finger foods, and we just mingle outside of, giving away prizes and having the raffle. Now there's going to be a show attached to it. There's going to be a photo booth. Like I said, there's going to be a DJ. There's going to be 80s music playing all night. So
Material girl.
yeah,
And
yeah.
H is always like every time I hear Madonna, I'm taking notes right now. So okay. Um I'm ready to party. And that's a lot
When
of people. And it's also a lot of pressure. We talked about that. It's your 50th. We've got to go huge on this. We got to go big on this.
I'm I'm in the process of putting together my Spotify playlist to give to our friend who's going to be the DJ.
I
And
love her.
I've already got 3 hours of, because I was just on Spotify, I was looking at 80 songs, and every time I saw, oh, gotta have that one, add to playlist. Gotta have that one, add to playlist. Gotta have that one, add to playlist. And I was literally just adding, and all of a sudden I look at my playlist. It's 3 hours long right now, and I feel like there's so many songs that I still don't have in there. I mean, for me as an 80s kid, because in 1985 I was in 5th grade, and then 89 I graduated 8th grade. So this was right before my high school year. But even in 8th grade, and then even in the high school, but 7th and 8th grade, pretty much all I listened to was gangster rap, and obviously I can't play that
Mhm.
at my
Yes, you
80s party.
can. You should have like a walkout song. I'm a big fan of walkout songs. That's how we
Yeah,
got into your Material Girl. Well,
yeah.
I can't wait. I'm gonna be sparkling. I'm gonna be a Taylor Swift slash Kelly Kapowski. Remember, I'm like, I just want to walk in the room and glitter. When I think of Vegas, I think, and also Stephanie and Jackie, I think are coming as well.
Yeah, they'll be there. I don't know what they're
Um,
coming as. I don't know what costumes what 80s garb they're going to be in, but they're
I
coming.
think they might just show up like New York, like fashionably, but just like pretty,
Well,
pretty.
the
We'll
New
see.
York 80s, I mean, Madonna was huge in New York in the 80s because that's where she was from. So I could see both of them in that, Madonna where she had like on a, like a muumuu with tights and like high tops, and then the hair was all teased out with bows in it. You remember that
Oh
whole
yeah.
I could see
I'm a
them doing
product
that.
of the 80s. I was 80, so I was born in 83. So when you were in 5th grade, I was what? Yeah. Yeah. So
Well, I was in 5th grade in 85. I was in 5th grade. So you were
so that
two.
you do the math.
Yeah, you were two. And I was in 5th
Well,
grade.
we can't wait. We already have a reservation for one of the best lobster places. So,
Oh,
well,
you
thanks
do?
for Oh, yeah. It's just like
What,
parents in the wild. Like, we don't get out much,
do you
Steve.
know? Do you know if you're coming Thursday or Friday yet?
We don't know, and we might
No.
drive, so it might be a game day decision,
Yeah.
but I'm so excited. I know a lot of people are excited, and, now I just want
Yeah.
lobster, but
And
I gotta
I just
focus.
want to say for the record, unfortunately, there are no spots left. It's this thing sold out. Basically, it sold out before the Bachelor season even started. Because in the past, I've always started promoting it the day after the Bachelor premiere. So it would have been in my column that's coming out tomorrow. But this year, because it was a bigger venue, I was like, I got to get started a little bit earlier. And I'm literally double the amount of spots we've ever had at the party. And I'm literally sold out. And tonight's the premiere of Grant's season. So it's like,
Oh,
sheesh. Yeah. So I apologize though, but this is what it pays to listen to my podcast. Because if you've listened to my podcast, I've been promoting this since basically like the beginning of December. So we've sold out this thing in like a month. And, you know, um, it adds to it because, and the reason it's even in a bigger venue and we're having so many people is because it's my 50th. If this was just a regular party like it was the previous 8 years, it would have probably been back at Venetian and maybe 100 people. But I was like, you only turn 50 once, you might as well go a little big and make it an event. But now that I see that I can sell out 200 seats, and trust me, I've got a wait list of at least 15 to 20 emails of people that I
mm.
don't think are going to get in unless others drop. Um, I have a wait list right now, and now it's just like, wait, if I can produce a party at a venue like this, can I work with them?
Yeah, absolutely,
Can they
Steve.
work
It
with
kinda
me in
makes
future
you think.
seasons? Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
Oh
know.
gosh, it'd be so fun to do like a Vegas viewing party thing or my wheels are turning. Like maybe Stephanie and I, maybe we can find another venue. I know it might be a long weekend, but it'd be fun to do like I mean there's still time and you could just show up and you know,
I'd
let's
rather
just see.
after Saturday's party. No, I don't want to do any more. Like I'm not doing another party or a meet and greet. That ain't happening because Saturday is going to be overwhelming as it is. It's been tough in the
Yes.
past to get around to shake hands and take pictures with 100 people. Now I'm going to have 200 people, and that's
Well,
going to keep me
we
occupied for
talked,
4
you've got
hours.
the pictures. We're gonna like kind of streamline this. And it's gonna be amazing. So I can't wait to see everybody. And I wanted to have you on, Grant Ellis. There's been a lot going on in the nation, Bachelor Nation,
Yeah.
Matt and Rachel breakup. I'd love to pick your brain and see what you've heard. It's like been the wildest thing. Um, the Grant Ellis, it's been like kind of like a slow holiday off season. And you are the man that has all the tea. And you've already spoiled Grant's season.
Yeah.
And this is going to be, I think if you want to wait till the end, we're going to try to keep it spoiler free, at least till the end. And I'll give you fair warning because, just for people listening, and I know you've dealt with this for a long time. I personally like spoilers as I watch because I like to watch with a closer eye and I like to watch the edit, especially. But let's dive into, I want to ask you a couple questions about it all in Grant's season. So starting off, have you ever spoiled a season this soon? Because for me, it feels
Yeah.
really early.
I have. I remember I found out about Sean Lowe and Catherine literally 3 or 4 days after they got engaged. Like,
Oh, wow.
and they got engaged in Thailand, and so that was like back when the schedule that you were on, which was right around Thanksgiving, is when the final rose ceremony aired. But the final rose ceremony was filmed, and then the first episode wouldn't air until the first Monday in January. I found out about Sean and Catherine literally, I think 3 or 4 days after. I just got lucky that season. I can't even remember how I found out. Your season, I had you and Ben engaged very early on in December. I put it out there that that Ben had chosen Courtney Robertson. That was out there at least 2 or 3 weeks before your season aired. Almost positive.
I don't think so. I thought
I
it
kn
was after my season aired.
After it aired?
Yeah, which was like January 2nd, I wanna say. I don't think you spoiled it until it was, like,
Oh, I did.
airing.
I'm almost positive I had you, had you
You
early
clocked
on.
me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I could probably Google it and find out when I put it out there. But yeah, I'm almost positive it was out there pretty early for sure.
So what are you
Yeah.
hearing about, I know you don't talk about, like, a lot of the off-season
Oh,
podcasts will talk about the girls and, like, go through their bios and their fun facts, etcetera. I wanted to read a quote from people, they rolled out the girls. I will say I'm excited about this season. I wasn't initially super jazzed on Grant just because I felt like we didn't I mean, he went home week 6. I wasn't, I was like, yeah, he's really good looking, but I just didn't have a horse in the race, so to speak. But I was looking at all the girls in the bios, and you probably have heard a lot more about them than me, but they seem age appropriate. He's 31. He's a day trader. Like, I didn't even know what he did for work. But the girls look gorgeous and they all seem like they have like pretty great jobs. And so I was going through People magazine, I sent it to you, and like reading the fun facts and all this kind of stuff. But how are you feeling going into the season? Are you over it? Are you excited?
I can't. I just look at it as any other season. I know some of the drama, but it's nothing. I feel like we find out more, like maybe once the episodes start airing. Like the stuff about Devin, we didn't find that out until
Oh,
when the season was over. So, but
yeah.
that usually comes with the guys. Like I don't think we're ever going to find some dirt on the women and some woman had a restraining order taken out against her. Like I'd be surprised if we find something like that out.
Mhm.
The bad behavior and the past bad behavior usually is about the men on Bachelorette. So I think for this particular season, I don't know. I don't see anything that is sticking out to me where it's going to be on the level of something like Devin. Um, so we're just talking about on show behavior. Yeah,
Right.
you got your women that constantly steal them away, which pisses off the other women, especially someone who's already had plenty of time with him, especially, the first night happens. Everybody's trying to get at least some alone time with the lead. Well, there's one girl that steals him away 3 or 4 different times. And it's like,
What's her name? Let's
that's,
let's talk about the highlights because you've already spoiled the season. I'm gonna write some names down. Is it Zoe?
that's Zoe.
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 Naughty
She's,
girl.
she's the one. And look, we all know that she didn't do that on her own. She was probably told to by a producer and she listened to them because if you're being honest with yourself, 25 women show up the first night. Yes, you want time with the lead for sure. But once you've already had your time, why would you go back 4 more times? I don't know how many times it is with Zoe, but it's more than once. I think it's more than twice. But it's like, why would you go back? Like you're
Yeah.
only going back because a producer told you to, because they want to create some sort of drama on the first night, because the first night there really isn't a whole hell of a lot you can do drama
One,
wise because
you
it's
and
the
I
same
have
thing.
talked about that before, is that they orchestrate when you can get time. They're like, if you
Yeah.
want time, go take him now. Like,
Yeah.
I remember interrupting Lindsay Cox. And I was like, "Ah," and they're like, if you want to talk to him, now's your window. They kind of orchestrate that just for people watching. Keep that in mind and be kind.
Yeah.
But I remember I went up to her after and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, but they all know that. So like some people put on like this big reaction and it's like, well, Chris Harrison said it best. Make the most of your time. And speaking of Chris Harrison, where's his podcast? I'm gonna just dance around all the latest in the nation.
Nobody knows. He hasn't put out a podcast since December 2nd. And on that last podcast, he never mentioned anything about taking a break. My guess is they're done.
Hmm.
Not as a couple. I'm sure that, yeah, they're definitely still together because I follow Chris on Instagram and I've seen him and Lauren post, but there'd be no reason to take a 2 month break without telling anybody why.
Right.
So my guess is they just don't have a podcast anymore and they're not going to, I don't know, tell people why, because you would have done that by now. You either would have come back with a podcast to say, hey, We
Yeah.
are ending our podcast on this date, or this is our last podcast, or
It's
a
been real.
contract wasn't, our contract wasn't renewed or something. But go look at their feed. Lauren and Chris have not put out a podcast of them talking since December 2nd. If you go to their feed, it's all a bunch of other podcasts that appear that you can listen to, that there's part of their network. But when you haven't put out a podcast in 2 months, it's pretty much pretty obvious that you're just not doing one anymore. And same with Hawktua Girl. Hawktua hasn't put out a podcast since December 3rd, like the next day. So
Well,
anyway,
she had some stuff with Dave covers all of that. Well,
yeah.
oh my gosh. So, who are the standouts in the can we talk about night one and what people can expect today? It's famous that people that get the first impression rose go to the end. Do you
No,
know?
that's Bachelorette.
Oh, okay.
Nobody's ever won on Bachelor that got first impression rose, except for, I believe, Hannah Ann on Peter's season,
R- And
who
we
ended up
saw how
losing.
that went.
Yeah, who ended up losing, but like got picked. Yeah, whoever gets Bachelor first impression rose never ends up winning, and a lot of them don't even get to the final four. It's really weird. But yet on
Oh.
Bachelorette, it's like 5 of the last 7 first impression rose recipients on Bachelorette ended up winning. So go figure.
So what can we expect for night one? Is Grant, do you feel like he's going to be an amazing bachelor? Is there going to be drama?
Well, night one is the same thing every season. There's not much you can do to spice up night one.
Well, yeah, like the entrances is like, what's a
Yeah,
standout entrance to look forward? Does like forward
one of the
to?
girls brings a llama
Oh,
because
does
it's
she
the no.
ride it?
No, she just walks it in, but it's a no drama llama. That's why she says she brings it. Or whatever.
Target on your back. Sorry, not sorry.
The first impression rose recipient also is, I'm assuming he tells the women, and this is like their thing that they installed this year, decided to make a thing, but whoever got the first impression rose also gets the first one-on-one of the season, which has never been the case.
Steve.
So
Well, they did
yeah,
that one date card and it was like, "Oh," at the live, after the final rose, and then she's like, "I'm not gonna use it." So
yeah,
that's a game changer. Okay.
yeah, yeah. The first impression rose recipient gets the first one-on-one, and then I don't know what else happens on night one other than I know who got the first impression rose, but
Does he it's the latest night ever. Does he So there's 25 women. How many does he let go? Does it even matter? Night 1
7.
girls, 7. That's a lot. Okay.
Yeah,
He sounds like a little cutthroat, and, for the listeners listening in, I listen to your podcast, so, like, I kinda know a lot of this stuff already, but you've spoiled the whole season, the dates, who goes to hometowns, all of that.
yeah, yeah. It's all out there on my website. Some of it was put out there like while filming was going on. Obviously, they can't hide everything because they do public dates. But yeah, the thing that's different this season is we're going to have less episodes. They kind of rip through this season very quickly. I think a lot of that has to do with college football's national championship got played so late this year on January 20th, so you can't start The Bachelor until the following week because the college football national championship is played on Monday nights. So that's why we're starting it tonight. And they do 3 episodes in LA, they do 1 episode in Madrid and 1 episode in Scotland, and then they're already at hometowns. So there's only 5 episodes before hometowns. And anybody that doesn't know this, but normally it's 7 episodes before hometowns. So he's going to get 2 less episodes this year. It's very similar to Charity's season, but for a
Mm.
Bachelor season, it's very, very uncommon to get only 5 episodes before hometowns. It's never, put it this way, when I was interviewing Bachelor Data on my podcast a couple weeks ago, she says this is the first time we've ever seen 5 episodes only before hometowns on a Bachelor season since Jake Pavelka. Jake Pavelka was in 2010, 2011. Like, it's been a
Is that
while.
is that really because of, like, the football and the other stuff, or do you think that
Yeah.
he was just eliminating hard?
No, no, because we know it's all set up in advance and they have to start at a certain time, which they couldn't start earlier than January 27th because football was on Monday nights the last 2 weeks. You had NFL playoffs on January 13th. You had the college football national championship on January 20th. So the earliest you could start Grant season is the 27th, but you still have to end it at the same time you always end the Bachelor season, because you can't go into April, because now you're going up against college basketball. So
Oh, that
unfortunately,
makes sense. Okay.
it's going to end at the same time, which means you truncate the episodes, and we're only going to get probably 9 episodes. You get 5 before hometowns. Episode 6 is hometowns. Episode 7 is overnights. Episode 8 is the Men Tell All, and episode 9 will be the finale. So yeah, it's going to be a shorter season, but it has nothing to do with whether the season is good or not. This was already done beforehand, but it just means they have to get from 25 women to 4 women in 5 episodes, as opposed to in 7 episodes like it was on your season and every season past that. So more people go home every episode than normal.
Okay, well, there you have it. And since we're talking about timelines, I think for me, what's interesting, because I got engaged and then there was this time before the show started airing. So when did he get, I'm assuming he got engaged. Can you confirm?
Yeah.
Okay. So he got the ring out, he did the whole thing. Okay. So when did the dates of that to like when it's airing? Like how long has he been engaged and doing his happy couples?
Almost 3 months.
Eek.
Yeah.
Do we
Yeah,
think
because
just
usually
like
for you
that's a long
it
time.
would have been, you got engaged right before Thanksgiving, and your first episode aired
January.
the first Monday in January. Well,
Mhm.
so that was maybe 6 weeks tops.
Right.
He's at 3 months because, number one, with the season being shorter, it took a lot less time to film the season, because they only had to film X amount of episodes. I always remember this, and when I was going over this as I was covering it, especially when they got to hometown dates, because for whatever reason, and I always bring it back to your season when I talk about hometowns, because I always remember Courtney's
Halloween.
hometown date was on Halloween.
Yes.
Well, the hometown dates this year were on. Let me just
I
pull it
think
up
you
on my
said the
phone real quick.
17th, like or the 11th, like the beginning of October, right?
It was the 11th, the 13th, the 15th, and the 17th. So they
So it was
had
a bit earlier. Yeah.
a bit earlier, 3 weeks earlier than you. So they were done filming. I think final rose ceremony was on either Halloween or November 1st.
Oh, no way. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's like
So,
I got done filming November 17th, just for people listening. And then
yeah.
Thanksgiving, like I flew home.
So yeah,
Like
2.5 weeks earlier than your season. So
so
let's say it
he's
ended
been
filming on
like,
November
this is
1st.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like
Let's say it
they've
ended on
been
November 1st. So they got all of November, all of December, and 27 days of January. Yeah. Literally 3 months he's been done filming. And
and they only give you like for me, it was like you get 4 happy couples. So and he's been off doing the tours and that kind of stuff. And I guess
you know,
I'm asking because I don't remember somebody having that much time
no,
to
it's never
like
been, because this is the latest they've ever started and the earliest they ever ended filming. So yeah, it's never been like this. This is a long time
I think
for
that's kind
sure.
of interesting, Steve, because that's when you really, truthfully, I think, yeah, you get to know somebody on the show, but like when you really dive in. So it'll be interesting to see what happens at the after the final rose. Are you hearing any rumblings yet, or is it too early?
No, I haven't heard anything. I mean, I'm assuming they're still together. I haven't heard that they aren't, but doesn't mean I don't hear every single thing. But
But 3
I
months of,
haven't
like,
heard it.
talk in the real world, and then the season's gonna roll out, like, ah, this is
Yeah.
I mean, I hope it works out, I wanted to read a quote, I was reading the People magazine, so he said to People, "I want somebody who has a heart for other people, somebody who is not self-absorbed, who does, somebody who is affectionate, who is kind." Ellis said, "Obviously a beautiful woman, but I'm super open in the process because I know that just through life experience that sometimes the best things come in the most unexpected ways." How do you
Mm.
feel about that?
Pretty generic answer. Like, I
Oh,
want
he's
somebody
been
who has a
media
heart for other
coached.
people. Yeah. I want somebody who has a heart for other people, affectionate and kind. It's like, okay.
He's like,
Who doesn't
"Obviously, I
who
want
doesn't want
beautiful."
somebody what's he gonna say? I want someone who's a giant bitch and hates other people? Like, of course not, you know. It's generic. Yeah, you said he's media trained. He knows what to say. He's not giving anything away. That doesn't describe any one of these women in particular. Just like, Just very generic. But yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm excited to watch. I'll be watching. I wish we had the screeners. Steve, why do
Uh,
we not have them?
it's a
We
good
need them.
question. Yeah, I know. It's a good question. It would make my life easier if I had screeners, but unfortunately, I don't. There are people
Well,
out there that do, but
oh, they do. I think Game of Roses got them. They're doing like bachelor viewing parties. Like I would love to host a viewing party with you.
did they get the screener for that? They watch the show
Mm.
live when there's viewing
Oh,
parties.
they watch it live, but they've already watched it.
Oh, they have? Oh, I didn't know.
Mhm.
Hmm.
All right, so let's put a bow on Grant. I'm not that excited, but I will be watching. And I want to talk about Matt and Rachel's breakup real quick. Have you heard anything? I always say the best way to throw a punch is to take a step back. Rachel Kirkconnell has been crickets. She
Oh.
has, I'm talking about Matt James, you guys, the breakup that just kind of faded off into the distance.
Here's what I'll say. I don't know anything in particular. I don't know anything factually to be correct, but what the facts that I do know is when Matt posted that bizarre caption
Trey
saying
Bizarre.
to pray for him and Rachel because they've broken up, they were on vacation together. I don't think anybody breaks up on vacation because of the stories that we're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
She was waiting for a ring, which I'm sure she was. She was waiting. I mean, they're not even engaged.
What
4
girl
years
isn't?
together, never, yeah, 4 years together, never engaged. But the timing of everything and when he released that um screams to me that there was something that happened that caused a breakup. Not, hey, we've been dating 4 years, it's just not working. Let's who breaks up with somebody when they're I mean, they were in Japan when this happened. Who breaks up with somebody when you're in another country? Because you have to fly back with that person, or what are you going to do? Go on, oh, we'll see you. We're done. I'm going to go take a flight home from Japan, of all places. I
Wait, so they weren't in like the where the
no,
pizza was.
no,
So they're
they're late posters on Instagram. They never post in real time where they are.
okay.
That I do know. They
So
were
they
in
were
London.
actually in Japan. I've
They were
heard
in Japan.
rumblings of that.
Yeah. So you don't break up in Japan if something
Mm-mm.
didn't happen. Now I don't know what that is. Obviously, there's rumors out there. Oh, he cheated or whatever. But it's like, well, he cheated in Japan while he was with her. Like, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand. But what I
Well,
do know
you
is
had
the fact that
interviewed the girl that came out after his sorry to step on
oh
you,
yeah,
but the girl that came out and remember what was her
yeah,
name? I
that
forget.
was 5 years ago. Grace. Yeah.
I know. And but they like you said though, Steve, they've been together for 4 years coming up on 5.
Yeah.
Like is it a ring thing? Which I don't like that narrative for her because you know that they've had conversations about it and he's teased that. That's what makes
Yeah.
this story I think so intriguing. We had major breakups over the holidays. It's always like January, like Jessica Simpson, Jessica Alba. Like these are people that have been together for 10, 17 years, have built a family. But I
Yeah.
feel like Matt James and Rachel Kirkconnell's breakup just kind of because of the way it was rolled out.
It wasn't even a rollout. It was just one 3 sentence caption by him out of the blue at 6 in the morning, my time.
Right.
So it would have been 4 in the morning, 4 in the morning, West Coast. It just was so random. And then she's said absolutely nothing. She hasn't put an Instagram post out. She hasn't put an Instagram
Nothing.
story out. The only thing that she's done is liked a couple people's comments on TikTok. And her sister
Trinity, yeah.
has Trinity has said a couple things, not even liking stuff. She's written stuff that, it was,
Confirms it.
yeah, confirms it. So my thinking is, Rachel can do what she wants. She doesn't have to answer to anybody. She might never talk about this breakup. I think she probably should. She doesn't owe it to anybody to, but
Mhm.
my guess and my advice to her would be go on, call her daddy, because that would be a huge interview. And Alex Cooper would do it
Mhm.
in a second because it's
Yeah.
a it's a big it's a big relationship in Bachelor Nation. But Rachel has always been, I don't know. I don't know. Like if she didn't ever address this, I can't say I'd be surprised. She just seems very private, and
Mhm.
um
Well, she
But
had a tough go. I mean, look
it's
at
gonna
like
it's gonna piss
she
a lot
had a
of people
tough
off.
go to be with this guy. Like she did that
Yeah,
video, remember, apologizing after Chris Harrison got the boot
yeah.
from the interview. Like, but like they really like, I mean, that's a long time. I think Caitlin Bristow was with Sean Booth for about 3 years. Like, I don't
Mm,
know that many couples that have lasted that long and
yeah.
not like honestly, apart from them. Like, and
At
then
least
broke
Caitlyn
up.
and Sean were engaged. Like, this woman waited 4
Right.
years and the guy wouldn't propose to her. So, I understand a breakup because, hey, kind of the whole shit or get off the pot thing. Like, what are you doing? You've been
Yeah.
with her 4 years. I think you know whether or not you want to marry this woman, but you wouldn't break up and do a 3-sentence caption breakup in another country because you
Right.
just decided, hey, it's not going to work out between us. Like, you wouldn't do that overseas. Like, something triggered
Happen.
this. We just don't know what it is. And unless she decides to do an interview on it, which I'd say is 50-50, because I could totally see Rachel Kirkconnell never addressing this. And then all of a sudden we find out she's dating somebody else, because the amount of DMs that girl has probably gotten since this
Oh,
has happened, she's
that
got her pick of the litter of guys that would,
yes.
and I'm sure, like, I'm not talking A-list guys, but I could totally see, and I'm not even talking about Bachelor Nation guys. I think she's kind of above that. I could absolutely see her
Oh, no.
dating a actor or um, celebrity or athlete, 1,000%. But I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. That's just a guess on my part. But the breakup is totally weird. It's the worst breakup caption I've ever seen. The fact that
Yes.
she hasn't even said or done anything other than like a couple people's TikToks. It's like her way of talking, but it's like she wants to talk about it, but she doesn't. So she'll just like somebody else's opinion that says,
Mhm.
"Oh, I bet it was this," and then she just likes it. So she's throwing subtle hints out there, but man, I have no idea if she's going to do an interview. But if she does, she should absolutely go on Call Her Daddy, and I guarantee Alex would have her on. It's a big
I
deal.
agree. Rachel, if you're listening, I already DM'd her and I've been through a public breakup. Like after
Yeah,
11 months of being with somebody and we like you want to be a divided like front. Like you were like, what's the plan here? Like
yeah.
I agree. Like I told Zachary Reality, I talked with him recently. I'm like, this is the worst bachelor breakup, like the way it was like people are invested, the way it rolled out. So thank you for sharing that because I couldn't agree more. I think, like you said, she's gonna get scooped right up. I think this is an unpopular opinion. I was never impressed by Matt James. He was the first bachelor that was plucked from the sky. Yes, he was supposed to be on Claire Crawley's season, but I just I never found him that attractive, me personally. And I get that he like they do the food thing. They have a lot, I followed them, but I really think Rachel is stunning. I gravitate more towards her because my woman's intuition is telling me that he just didn't do right by her. And
Yeah, I think a
that's
lot
how
of
I
women are
feel.
just like, "Why are you dating this woman for 4 years?" Like,
Right.
and never proposed. So it totally seems like he was never going to propose. But I
Mhm.
don't think that's the reason the breakup happened. Like, a lot of the tabloids are reporting, they're saying, "Oh, it was just,"
Yeah. And
and
that's why
it
we need to hear from Rachel. I want to
yeah.
hear what happened in Japan. Did you
Well,
get
what
bad
happened? Yeah.
sushi? Did you have diarrhea? Did you what
Did you know he was going to write that? What did you think of his caption? Like,
Right.
it's one of the worst. It is. No, it's not one of the worst. It's the worst
It's
breakup
the
caption I've ever
worst.
seen. It's not even close.
Breaking news. The
Yeah.
worst. The
It's not even
worst.
close, because it looks like he did it without her knowledge, because there's no way he said, "Okay,
We didn't tag her in
I'm
it.
going to put a breakup post out there. What do you think of this?" And she's like, "Yeah, that looks great. 3 sentences and it's all about the Lord." There's
Don't
no
forget to
way.
tag me.
Yeah. There's no way
Yeah,
she's able.
unworldly pain. I just
Yeah.
if I, and at that point you can't delete it. Like he knows he probably messed up. I would love to be a fly on the wall in that text chain. Like, but I think that like at that point, like if she drew a hard line, if he broke up with her, whatever happened, transpired, like I hope that she just ghosts him.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, is that's the problem? We're all sitting here in the dark because we have no idea. Where are they right now? Are they still together? Are they trying to work things out? But I don't think he's deleted that Instagram post, but the fact that he posted that 3 sentences over a week ago and nobody on either side, either Matt hasn't followed it up with anything, a
Right.
podcast interview, an Instagram
People
story, nothing.
magazine.
Nobody's got anything. All
It's
they're
très
doing is
bizarre.
yeah, it's really bad.
Well, that will probably get washed out to sea, and I don't think we'll be seeing her in Paradise. I think
No way.
she's kind of
She's above this
trans
show. No way.
she's transcended. So, all right, guys. Well, tonight's Bachelor Monday. What are you going to be doing? Watching live, Steve?
Yeah, just have to watch it live since I don't get
Yeah.
screeners. Yeah, since I don't get screeners, so I gotta
That's
watch it
the
live.
saddest thing ever. Well,
Yeah.
I was looking at the fun facts, and to wrap up, I wanted to ask you a couple fun facts, a little
Mm.
rapid fire. So the fun facts are hilarious. You're old when you read a fun fact about a Bachelor contestant and it says, my first concert I ever went to was the Jonas Brothers. So,
Yeah. Talk about old. Turning
Steve,
50 this year.
so what was the first concert that you ever went to? Loading? Loading.
Yeah. This is gonna sound so funny. It was Tom Jones at the Hollywood Bowl.
Who the heck is Tom Jones? And by the way, Hollywood Bowl, great venue.
Tom Jones, the guy that sings the song that Carlton dances to. It's not unusual to be loved. That one, that guy.
By anyone.
Yeah, that guy.
Not unusual.
Yeah. Saw Tom Jones at the Hollywood Bowl. This first concert. I was never a concert kid growing up. Never went to any growing up. I literally. When did I see Tom Jones? I saw Tom Jones before I moved to Texas. So I was literally 30 years old before I saw my first concert. I was never a concert person before that. Now I've seen probably 8 since then, and 5 of them were Taylor Swift. So
Oh, lucky.
yeah,
Lucky. We could do a whole
I was never a concert guy growing up. I don't know why.
so you
Probably because I listened to gangster rap. That was like what I listened to growing up, and I wouldn't be seen at a NWA concert. So yeah, Easy E concert, like that's the stuff I listened to. So I wasn't going to Depeche Mode or the Smiths or wasn't going to those concerts. So yeah,
let's take it to the next level. So,
yeah,
what was your second concert? Do you remember?
it would have been Taylor Swift, probably.
Your
Now that I think about it,
Okay, we gotta go to more concerts.
the thing that I used to go to all the time was comedy shows. That was my
Oh,
thing in high school. I started going to stand-up comedy shows in high school, and that was what I would do instead of going to concerts. I've always been a fan of going to see stand-up live. By the way, Whitney Cummings is in Vegas the week before my party. I would have loved to have seen her
I
live.
was gonna say when we saw what's his name
Jeffries.
last year? Yeah, Jim Jeffries last year. I would have loved to try to. I was like, guys, come, but we all had our own stuff going on.
Yeah.
But I would love to do something like that. Maybe another time. And I know you go to Vegas more often. So,
Yeah.
well, all right. Second fun fact. What would your fun fact be something that nobody knows about you
Well,
if
then
you were a
that
Bachelor
eliminates
contestant?
that eliminates being a Swiftie or being a fan of the Olive Garden because everybody knows that about me.
Mhm. Tell us
Gosh.
something that nobody knows, Steve.
Oh God. Um.
It's late. You're like,
Yeah.
"Courtney."
I can't. I mean, there's plenty of stuff. I'm just thinking, like, what would be appropriate or funny that because I
I
feel like
would
I
love it
talk
if
about a
people were a
lot.
little bit more real on their fun facts. Like, I great, you're a great organizer. Like, you can go and look on People magazine right now. Like, the fun facts are like, "I don't like heights, but I'll
Yeah,
do it." Like, let's do the real life shit. Like, let's cut the bullshit.
I know. What would be a real life fun fact about me? I need to put more time into this because I could.
Okay, we can
Yeah,
circle
I
back
don't
on
know.
this. Oh,
Yeah,
well, I know you pretty well. You like Taco Bell on occasion. Or no,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I always say Taco Bell. Jack in the Box.
Well, I
You
like Taco
like
Bell too.
olive yeah, so do I. The Mexican pizza, we have
Yeah,
shared food. We have food swap Mexican pizzas. I almost did it tonight, but then I was like, "Ooh, I don't want that surprise tomorrow." But
yeah,
you love Olive Garden, Taylor
yeah,
Swift, obviously.
yeah.
You're a family man. You love your
Yeah.
dog.
Love my dog. But those aren't fun facts. Those are just like facts. Like
You're
I'm
right.
trying to think like what
Those
would
are
be
just
something that like is interesting. Like I'm trying to think of something that's in the vein of what these women have to put on their profiles. Like
Can I tell you something that I think it could be? And we
what?
can take this out if you want. Steve recently had his first pedicure.
No, that wasn't my first. I get
Oh,
pedicures all the time. Oh yeah. I just hadn't got one in a while.
but that's not a fun fact, but that's something that probably people don't know
Yeah.
about you
I mean, a fun fact would be if I said I get pedicures
regularly.
every month. Yeah. Which I probably should. I probably should get them every
We
I was
all
told as a
should.
guy I was told as a guy you should get one every 6 to 8 weeks. That's what I've been told.
My husband hasn't had one in 5 years, and I'm like, "Babe, your heels are horrible." You know, when
Yeah,
they
you
get
need
the cheese grater out, I'm like
oh, yeah.
I I literally told Umberto, I'm like, "I'm gonna start a bath, go soak your feet, I'm gonna scrub them for you." Like, you look like we call it Circle K feet here when you grow up and you walk around homeless like, without shoes on, you know? I'm like, "You have, like your feet are horrible. You need the callus remover.
He needs
Help me
you guys
out."
need to do a spa day and each get a and each get maybe you need to do that in Vegas. Go to
He
the spa
doesn't
and
do
get a
that stuff. He's just
pedicure.
like all man. He's
He doesn't want a
like,
pedicure? Mm.
"No." And I'm like, "You need
They're
one
great.
though."
Pedicures are great. They give you a they massage your leg and your calf, and it's awesome. I love them.
I hate
I
the
just don't get it.
weenie
I need to get them
massages
more
though,
often.
where it's like a little bit too light and you're like,
Yeah.
"I really wanna get some bang for my buck," you
I
know? Just
like I
get in
like
there.
them. I need to get them more often. I need to put it in my phone. And I think I did after my last one to put an alert in my phone every 6 to 8 weeks to get one
I'll be your
because
accountability partner.
yeah.
I will text you like, "This is your daily reminder to treat yourself to a pedicure."
Yeah. No, I've gotten plenty in my life. I need to make it like a monthly or every like 2-month thing.
I just feel like so let's get back
Gosh,
to
what
your
would be a
fun
fun
facts. Why are you well, it's a little bit we're probably both a little bit tired, but fun fact about you.
I mean, well, in the vein of like these women, they have to tell something about themselves that, people
Right.
wouldn't know. Again, but I've talked about this on my podcast before. I've never been out of the country.
Hmm?
So that would be a fun fact. I've never been out of the country. Yeah. Never
Some
traveled
little
out of the country.
señorita or
Mm.
somebody's gonna be like, "Let me whisk you off to Saint Tropez."
Yeah, I've never
That's
been out of the
no,
country.
that's really interesting, Steve.
So
Do you have a
that's a
passport?
fact. It's a different I got a passport in 2008 because
Well, it's expired.
I had just started dating a girl at the time who I knew was a big traveler. So I went and got one. We broke up maybe 3 months later,
Ouch.
and then in 2018, my passport had expired, and if you
I'm
zip
sorry, I'm
through
not
it,
laughing.
if you just open the passport book and look through it, there'd be 0 stamps. I never went in those 10 years, and then I just haven't even gotten it renewed because I don't have any plans to go overseas anytime soon. But
Do you have a fear of flying?
oh, no, not at all. I mean, the other thing is, there's no reason. I'm not a guy that's I'll go to Vegas by myself, but I'm not going to a different country by myself. And I
Right.
haven't had a relationship to where somebody that I felt I would go to another country with. So that would be like, that's the only reason. Like, I don't have a passport right now because I have no plans to go to another country because I'm currently not dating anybody. That would be the only time I would get out of the country is if I'm dating somebody and I feel like I would go to someplace out of the country with her. So that's
Well,
why
I get
that's
it.
what I
I
feel. I
mean,
don't need
I
it.
just so you know, I don't have a passport either right now because I changed my name and mine expired
Oh,
a long time ago during COVID. And I don't have any plans to go out of the country. But I
yeah.
will say, you always ask about the kids, which thank you because uh, I just love them. They're like my heart and soul. But I watch Sesame Street, and before every episode, they do a sandals commercial.
Commercial. Yeah.
It's like caring and sharing and being truly inclusive, and I'm like, "Babe, should we go to sandals?" Like, it's so ingrained in me, and, like, I've obviously traveled overseas through The Bachelor and a little
Modeling.
bit here and there and modeling and stuff, but maybe we should it'd be fun to do like a I'm not a big I don't have the time that much, but it'd be fun to maybe at some point go overseas. So, all right. So,
Well, I will say this, for any sort of overseas travel or any sort of passport travel that I do, I will say I don't care about monuments. If I'm going somewhere, I'm going somewhere tropical. I'm going
right.
somewhere that has beaches and stuff like that. I don't
You
want to
want
say I
your
don't
cabana. I know you
yeah,
like
I don't want to
you
say
don't
I
want to
don't
be
care about
hot.
Europe, but I don't like going to see the Eiffel Tower or going to Greece to see the ancient. It doesn't interest me, and maybe that makes me an idiot, but I'm sorry, it just doesn't. I don't have a lot of interest in world
Don't be
history.
sorry about it. I have no interest in cycling or hiking. And there was a girl
Yeah.
on Grand Season that was like, "I hate hiking. I absolutely loathe it." And I'm like, "Be honest. Like, I hate hiking."
Yeah,
People wear
I'm
hats
not
that
a
say like, "I'd hike that." I'm like, "I would not that." Like,
not a hiker, not a camper. So I don't if I'm going somewhere, I want to go somewhere like tropical and beachy,
let's go get
like
in the
Baha
palapa.
like the Bahamas or something like that. Or when you talk about like when I saw that Dave and Tasha
Oh yeah.
went to
He
the
almost died
Maldives,
by a
right?
shark. His
Didn't they
shark
go to
stories are so funny.
didn't
Yes.
they go to the Maldives or Bali? One of the
Yes.
two. Yeah.
For their
See,
honeymoon.
that just seems. I'd love to go to a place like that, but the idea of the
Getting
15-hour
there.
flight and the whole
Yes.
jet lag thing and just like that's why Bahamas is probably something I could do because that's like off the coast of Florida. That's not very you're
Or
not
Puerto
traveling
Rico.
all day long to go to the Bahamas. So I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to do, if anything.
Well, we'll circle back on these fun facts.
Yeah.
And so to wrap this up, what is a couple of your pet peeves? One or two? I have a couple, but do you have a pet peeve? Because they talked about that on the fun facts. On a
Uh,
dating application, what would I shouldn't lead the witness, but
what would be a pet peeve of mine? I feel like I've got so many, and now that I'm put on the spot, I can't think of one. I
do you
know
want
I've
me to?
got I know I've got pet peeves. I mean, some ones that immediately pop into my head are, and I've talked about this on my podcast numerous times. A waiter who doesn't write down my order, and then when they
Oh,
delivers the food, it's wrong. Drives me nuts.
yes.
Drives me up a fucking wall. I can't stand it. It's like
You're like, you should have wrote that
there's
down.
no upside to not writing down my order because even if you got everything right, it's like great. That's what you were supposed to do. Like I'm not giving you an extra tip if you didn't write it down and you got my order right. So what's the upside to not writing it down? And I can tell you 90% of the time I have been at a restaurant and the waiter didn't write down my order. 90% of the time something was missing or wrong. Not anything major. It was always like a side. It's not like they completely messed up the order and I said, "Hey, I ordered pasta and you gave me a steak." No, nothing like that. But you know what I'm saying? Like it drives me up a wall and I can't stand when waiters do that. So that's one. I can't stand misinformation now on the internet, Twitter and stuff like that. I just can't stand. That drives me nuts. A pet peeve. Well, I'm sure I've got a few driving pet peeves, but I can't even
Oh, who doesn't?
think of them off the top of my head. But yeah, I know I've got a few of those. But I feel like I've got
Or, like,
so
do you
many.
have any in, like, a relationship? Which, by the way, these
Oh
pet
yeah,
peeves on the People magazine wasn't like, is there a pet peeve in a relationship that maybe somebody could take that away? Like, for me, like, being on your phone all the time is
that was mine. Yeah, that would be
oh,
mine.
I'm sorry, I just was channeling your energy, but, like, that's, like I think that goes across the board, and Dave is really great. Dave Neal, our shout out to Dave, like, he
Yeah,
has, like, a phone-free zone at the end of the night, which
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I also am glued to my phone a lot, and I'm working on it, but when you're, like, trying to talk to somebody and they're looking at their phone, especially at the dinner table, when you are, like, splurging and going
Yeah.
to do that, like, because we don't get out or eat, like, a nice meal often anymore,
Yeah.
so when we do, it's like, you know, it's wanna eliminate that.
Yeah, it drives me nuts, and I'm talking about like constant use on the phone. I expect
Right,
someone that I'm with to look at their phone. But if we're out to dinner, look at your phone when either I go to the bathroom
right.
or you go to the bathroom. It shouldn't be And again, unless it's something important. If it's just somebody, it's just your
But
friend
also, I
texts.
think
If
that
it's
there's
just your
like
friend
some
texts you while we're at dinner,
right.
you don't need to respond to them and then keep responding to them because they're responding back to you. That's what I mean. It drives
And I
that
think that
drives
goes
me
back to
nuts.
our old school ways. Like we didn't have cell phones growing up, Steve. Like we
No.
like had the bat lines. Like exactly. And like if I'm on my phone ever with a group of people, I'm like, if it's important and I have to, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, this is a work thing or something's going on. Like I think that is the etiquette. It should be that you should like announce like the reason you're on your phone.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The other thing is just being on the phone like that. It is such a huge pet peeve of mine, and like I said, I really think there's a way to go about it. Like my
Mhm.
work is my phone, but
Right.
if I'm with somebody and I'm in a conversation with them, I don't need them looking at their phone and pretending like they're listening to me, and that
It's
drives me up a wall.
distracting.
Yeah,
Well, as it should, Steve. It's
yeah.
just kind of like you know, behavioral 101. So wait till we watch The Bachelor tonight, you guys. And that's the other thing is you don't get to see this stuff on The Bachelor. I just
Oh,
talked to my friend Amy Bean. You don't have your purse, ladies. You don't have your makeup bag. You're just like walking around. Like, guys have their wallet and their phone. So it will be interesting to see how this season shakes out. And Steve, thank you for joining me. I'll be excited to see how it plays out. I'd love to have you back for like a recap. I don't do a ton of recaps, but I'm trying to, like I said, get it up for it. So,
yeah.
but what do you have coming up? Do you have any guests that you want to plug? Anything in the
I'm definitely gonna.
pipeline?
I'm definitely. I don't even know who my guest is this week, to be honest with you.
Do you want it to be
Um,
me? Little old me?
we could do well.
I
Let's
don't
get a
want to put
couple.
you on the spot.
Well, let's get a couple episodes into this season before I bring you on. I don't want to have you on after the first episode because nothing happens in the first episode.
Right.
It's just so
I'm
boring.
I'm probably not going to watch live cuz let's be honest, I can't stay up that late
Yeah.
anymore.
Gosh, I don't even know who's on this week yet. I haven't booked it. So, but yeah, check out my YouTube channel. Daily
Steve
Roundup is
is
on every day.
killing it. You're doing
Uh,
great, Steve.
I'm trying.
How's that going? Are you enjoying it? I mean, that's all we can ever do is just try.
Uh, I like I said, I'm getting used to just being on camera all the time.
I don't
Like I said,
this
I've
has
never
been hard
appreciated
for me, honestly. Like
it.
I much harder than just recording without seeing
We're
myself. I don't want to see myself.
we're no Dave Neals. Let's just say that Dave kills it. Dave's got 90,000 subscribers. I've got 6. So
You guys
I,
go
I
follow
have to I have to build it. I know it takes a while. And Dave was for the longest time. Dave was doing a YouTube and had barely any views, and then all of a sudden it took
for
off during the
years.
yeah. And so it took off for him. So and I was the opposite. I had a built-in audience for the longest time, and then I've gone and added YouTube, and it's just getting those people to come over. And but yeah, I mean, I know it's going to take a while. It doesn't happen overnight for sure. So I don't know.
Unless you go viral. There's too many, like,
Yeah.
moving parts, and honestly, like, I wanted to have you on because I'm like, I don't know if this is for me, you know? Maybe we don't need to reinvent the wheel, but that's just, like, old me. Can't
Yeah.
teach me new tricks, so well, Steve, thank you so much for coming on. Everybody
No
go
problem.
follow, his YouTube channel and check out his spoilers. Can you give me a little soundbite about who the final 4 are? If you spoiler alert, who to watch if you want to be in the club, our little circle to watch closely. The final 4, Steve. Watch them closely and their edits.
Yeah. So the final 4 women are Zoe.
The bad girl that was stealing him away all the time?
Yeah.
I love
Uh,
her. I love her.
Latia, Juliana, and Dina. There's
Wow,
your
what
final
are the
4.
all right. You guys, those are
Just
the
keep
ones
those in
to
mind. And
just keep
none of
those in your
those
head.
4, put it this way, none of those 4 get the first impression rose tonight. There you go. There's a little mini spoiler.
Mic
So
drop, Steve.
so yet again, the first impression rose recipient not only doesn't win, doesn't even get to the final 4.
I wonder what happens in the overnights, but we'll get to that later. All right, guys.
Yeah.
Steve, thank you so much. Until next time, I'm your host, Courtney Robertson, and this has been After Reality. Adios, Steve.
Bye.